Hello everybody. I had a request for some more carding video information, and so here was what we're going to do is we're going to talk about carding the rear, carding the hips. It was somebody who was feeling like maybe the hair on the hips was getting puffy and needed to be pulled, but it also seemed sparse, so it was hard to tell. That's kind of the situation that this dog's in right now. He's got a nice layer of jacket coming in that's actually just as tight as here on the side, but because of the time of year, it's April right now, and around here, that means we get a ton of undercoat blowing out. So, especially in the hips, I started noticing it in Schnauzers because professionally I was seeing it a lot in our double-coated breeds like Huskies, Labs, Goldens, stuff like that. They have a lot of undercoat throughout, but especially right here on the hips and that area. So, before you start digging into what's actually a pretty short layer of top coat, try carding the undercoat. And as a refresher, carding is just a way we get undercoat out. There's a few different tools. There's the butter knife. This is an old-fashioned one. The CP Classic Artero now makes a version of it. This is a magnet stripper. Neither one of these should be used for stripping, actually. They're really just good for carding. They're real bad about breaking top coat, so I don't recommend using them for stripping. You can also use a furminator. I like to make sure it's a little bit dull, and I'll talk about the technique of using these tools. Now, this time of year, there's a tool I don't use very often, but sometimes it's really good, and that's a metal flea comb. The teeth are super close together, and when you have a lot of undercoat, this will really get down to the skin and really pull some out. So look, I've already gotten this much. This is just undercoat. Now let me do it on the side you can see. It's not quite as much on this side, but one of the things with this comb, a flea comb, or you see it also with your Andis tool, is that if you keep some hair in it, it'll grab more hair. So you don't want to clear the hair out too much, or not all the way, or you won't be able to use it to get as much. So here in just a few minutes, not even, I've gotten this much undercoat already. This would have taken me 2 or 3 or 4 times longer to do if I was using a carding tool. That's a lot of undercoat. And all of that is, stand up buddy, and what that's doing is it's lifting up the top coat and keeping it from laying flat. And that's what's giving it that kind of sparse appearance of, gosh, it's short, but it seems like there's not very much hair. So, here's using the butter knife type. With the butter knife, you're going to hold the skin a little ahead of where you're going to be carding, and you want the knife pretty parallel to the skin. It's at a little bit of an angle so it can get in there and get some hair out, but not, certainly you're not going to do it perpendicular. It's not like that. It needs to be as close to parallel as you can. And you gently build pressure in. Don't put it in hard and then pull back, because that's where you're going to tend to put cuts in the top coat while you're carding the undercoat out. Wow, we got a lot out with that flea comb, but I'm still able to get this much more out on the hips here. And the magnet stripper is best when the coat's really short, when the jacket is quite tight. Let's see if I can get any out here. Not very much, a little. It's kind of building up right here on the surface rather than sticking within the knife. And then, so you know, you go through that. And then to give it a little bit more, if you want to really get some more undercoat out, I'm just going to lightly put a little of my handy dandy ear powder on there. This tail's got a fair amount of undercoat in it too. And then go back to the beginning, and the ear powder helps you grip a little bit more. And pull all the way through. Yep, there's some clumping up right there. So you can save yourself some time using this metal flea comb, but it really only works when there's a ton of undercoat. So if you pull the flea comb through and it doesn't get anything, then just go right to the next choices. The butter knife or the magnet stripper. There we go. And it's the same technique, the same process all over the dog, including the neck, the shoulders. Really just trying to get as much of this winter undercoat out so I can really get back to seeing the coat that I'm dealing with, that I'm rotating, I'm rolling, to keep it ready for when I'm ready to go ahead and show him. So, yeah, again, I got a lot. Got a lot. Good boy, buddy. All right. Stand up one more time. So I wish I'd called it out at the beginning of the video, but you can go back to the beginning and I think you'll see that the coat didn't look as dark then because the hair was more lifted. You're seeing more of the white parts of the bands and you're seeing the undercoat itself. And by getting this undercoat out, we're flattening the coat and we're going to be seeing more color. It'll be nice and tight. And that'll make it easier to know what still needs to be stripped. Now I can kind of back brush it with my hand a little and say, oh, there's this very sparse layer of long coats. Let me use my pumice stone to pull those off. I'm not trying to get any length off. I'm just trying to get rid of the stray wispies. Okay, so carding. It's a really good way of getting your coat in shape. If I had tried to pick at this coat before I got the undercoat out, then when I combed it all down, I would have found I had put holes in this current layer of coat and I would have been sad. And that's how I learned to do this. I put holes in coats and I was sad, and I learned how to do things in a different stepwise manner to get a different result. So again, that's why, don't worry about making mistakes. The hair grows back, and from our mistakes, we can learn new techniques and use them to our advantage later. All right, everybody. Hope that helps. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Yeah.